lot of our friends who are talking about equality one. They want the government to be neutral. We want the government to treat all relationships in the same way. Isn't that the point? Have you heard that? Okay. Now, here's what I'm wrong with that. The government is already treating relationships very differently in a lot of ways.
We're here to energize and activate our supporters here in New Jersey to protect marriage, the union of a man and a woman. We know that people are working to get the courts to redefine marriage. We have a court decision coming out of California and a lawsuit filed here in New Jersey. And we need to be ready to stand up and activate the voters. 31 of 31 states, they said, we know what marriage is and we want to protect it, and they need to be heard. What do you want to happen? What we want to have happen is to sign up as many people as possible to protect marriage and make sure that when they vote, they're voting for folks who also share their views on marriage, and that they let their friends know how important this is in their family.
There's a town hall meeting going on right now, so what's your reaction to that? It's going on right now in the State House.
Well, this is America. When we have disagreements, we have our events, we have our rallies, you have town halls, and we believe in freedom. What we don't accept is anyone attempting to silence us here. And so far that's not happened here in New Jersey, but in Providence there were attempts to shout down our speakers, to silence us and intimidate us, and that's simply un-American and it's unacceptable.
Brian, why is it so important in your view to preserve marriage as the union of a man and a woman?
There are profound consequences to society in redefining marriage. We've seen some of them. When you have Catholic Charities Adoption Agency in Massachusetts being shut down by the state because it will not adopt and cannot adopt children of same-sex couples, you see the religious liberty consequences. Also, there are consequences in our schools. If you teach our kids from a very young age that it's the same thing for a boy to grow up and marry a boy as it is to marry a girl, then clearly when the teacher says, your parents don't believe that, well, they're bigots. That has a profound effect. We're talking about parental rights, and that's already happened. So this is a civil rights question. It's a question about our civil rights, the civil rights of those of us who believe that marriage is the union of a man and a woman. The majority of Americans, 31 of 31 states.
New Jersey has civil unions, so what's your reaction?
Well, there are many different ways that people can deal with the benefits question, but that's never been the issue. If that was the issue, then you wouldn't have a lawsuit in your Supreme Court right now. Civil unions clearly aren't acceptable to supporters of same-sex marriage, and that's why in places like California, when you had civil unions or domestic partnerships, you still had lawsuits for marriage. The question is whether marriage is the union of a man and a woman, or whether two men and two women are the same as a man and a woman, and that those of us who believe otherwise are the equivalent of bigots.
And there's children speaking today inside talking about their experience that they're being bullied, and their parents, their fathers and mothers don't have the same rights when they go to the hospital. So what is your action, focusing on the child?
Well, no one should be bullied, no one should be intimidated, no one should be harassed. What I know is that we saw some of our kids that are here today that were at the rally in Providence. We saw same-sex marriage supporters calling them little bigots and attacking them. Now, am I saying that's true of the whole movement? No. Stephen Goldstein, I know, and so far there have been no incidents here, and I know he's called on his supporters not have any confrontations. I respect that. We can disagree civilly. This is America. This is an emotional question. There are people on both sides of the debate. Let's debate it, let's argue about it, but let's not try and shout each other down.
And there's pictures on your bus. Inside they were saying that the pictures of the families are fake families. The people inside are real families.
Well, are these fake families? Are these big families? At any of our stops, we have families coming from very different faith perspectives, very different backgrounds, different races, different creeds. Look, it's clear. You have 31 states and millions of Americans, whenever they've had the chance to vote, they voted to protect marriage as the union of a man and a woman. How can you think that it's right for a few judges to say they don't count? Bow down to your robed masters. We're going to make the decision. That is not what this country is about.
What's your full name and title?
Brian Brown, President of the National Organization for Marriage.
Okay, why?
I'm getting ready to go. Anything you want to say before?
People can join us at nationformarriage.org.
Why are you here today in New Jersey today? I mean, there's no legislation before the state legislature. Governor Christie has made it clear to veto any marriage bill that reaches his desk.
I've got to answer this. I'll come back.
All right.